I'm no expert on this stuff. Kombucha, I've just been making it for maybe like 6 months, something like that. And it's always been pretty good. Sometimes it kind of gets either like too sweet, not sweet enough, not enough fizz, especially in the beginning when you're trying to like learn how to do it.
Yeah.
But the recipe that I use is pretty consistent, and you can find a whole bunch of stuff online. It's pretty easy. So it'll kind of go up and down, and a bit of a learning curve, but yeah. You can come home with, so you'll come home if you want, like today, with one of these, and it'll have like this much tea in it, or just enough so that it's like submersed underneath it, and then that's your starter kombucha. If you Google like any kombucha recipe or how to do it, you'll see all you need is that you can't get at the store or anything. The other things you need is black tea. English breakfast works the best, I found, like just regular breakfast tea. Make sure it's organic, it's much better, and it's alive. Like the mushroom's totally like a being, so like you want it to be healthy, you want it to be like totally natural stuff. Pick an organic English breakfast tea. You can't use Earl Grey. Earl Grey doesn't work. It doesn't like it. The mushroom just goes all funny.
Can you get no caffeine free
You can do it with
tea?
caffeine-free ones.
Which can rooibos or?
You'll have to Google which ones there's, but I've only like I said at the beginning, like I'm not an expert on it, so I haven't tried everything. But I know that green tea works. Earl Grey doesn't.
Yeah.
For some reason. Other teas like herbal teas definitely work, but check which one it is, because some stuff doesn't. I've been using golden sugar.
Yeah.
This is just like organic sugar, natural sugar.
Okay.
When you go for the less like ordinary sugars, the more natural ones, it's actually for some reason not good for it. It's harder work for the mushroom to break it down. So the sugar is the food for the kombucha. It's like eating on the sugar. When it eats the sugar, that's making the fizz. And the recipe that I use, 2 tea bags, 2 liters of boiling hot water, and 1.5 cup of sugar. So you boil the tea, add the sugar, it's steaming hot. Wait until it's cool before you add it to the kombucha. So this is what it looks like after you've done all that. So this here was the starter, added the tea, and then we put it away for like a week, and then it's kombucha. When you put it away, try to put it somewhere that'll stay room temperature, pretty warm. In the dark if you can, away from the light is good. And you'll want to cover it like this. So you keep like anything from falling in, and no flies can get in, but it can breathe. So as soon as it tastes like kombucha, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, maybe 7. It depends how warm it is, it depends on a few things. Just taste it every day. When it tastes like kombucha, take it out. And then when you take it out, you put it in another container like this one, and you just put the top on it, like a real top, and the mushroom stays in the first one. So you don't pour the mushroom out with it.
Okay.
You just the tea. So that's why the drain is good. Like if you have a little drain like that, then you can just take your new jar and just go, you know, and the mother stays there. It's now here. You got the new kombucha, looks like this. And then at that point, you put the top on that's real top. This one stays with the top like that. And you add new tea to that one, and you start your new process, right? This one is going to start to be more and more bubbly the more that you leave it on the counter. During that time, you can add flavors if you want. So you can leave it regular and it'll be good. It'll be like normal kombucha. Or you can add, this one has ginger, berries, whatever you want. But it's important, never add the flavor to the one with the mushroom in it. This is your kombucha ready to drink. After like 2 days or a day, it'll be more bubbly, you'll taste the flavor, and you can start to drink it right away. So this is like day 5, right? As I was saying, you've brought home the kombucha, you've added the tea at room temperature that's sweetened, and then you've put it away somewhere warm, somewhere dark for about 5 days, kind of tasting it every now and again. When it tastes like kombucha, it might be a little bit less bubbly, but still has that kombucha flavor that's familiar. It's time for you to harvest. So you start like this. That's why it's good to have the taps, these jars. I have it very nice because there's a shelf here. So if you've got something at home like this, or if you can prop it up, put the jar up top, you got the jars on the bottom, and then we're going to wait for these guys to fill up. And once these guys are full here, then we're going to put a normal top on it, not like the fabric top, but just a normal top. This one already has a lid, and this one's going to be a mason jar lid. and then you just keep it at room temperature for another like 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, and you just start to drink it whenever you want. You might find little traces of like gooey stuff. So some people like to like, you know, put a strainer or something when during this step. But I don't mind the thick parts of it. If you feel weird about it, some people are kind of like, whoa, it's gross. Then just one of these or something like that. You may have heard metal is not good for kombucha. It's true, but it's for the mushroom. So never touch the mushroom with your hands. You can if they're really clean, but it's better just not to. Or with metal. Always wood is the best way to do it.
Okay.
So when we go to separate the mushrooms, we'll do that later. I'll show you how to handle the mushrooms with like spoons and stuff so that you don't touch them. Say you go away for a while or something, or you forget about it, and you don't harvest on day 5, and you leave this kind of top on it. At like day 12, day 15, it'll be vinegar. The whole thing is vinegar. So I'm gonna leave it there, and that's gonna be starter for the next one. Before we add the tea to this, normally you just add the tea and then you let it sit for another 5 days, and boom, there's your kombucha process all over again. What we're going to do before that is we're going to take these guys out and separate them to give you scobies if you want. This is something you'll want to do if you're giving away your own scobies to your friends, or anytime you're going to separate it. Or you might need to clean it. If you look in the jar and there's like clearly signs of mold and stuff, like this one you can see there's like a little bit of white. That's just the new disc forming. Mold is pretty obvious. It's kind of furry. It might be blue kind of thing. But this one looks like it's alright. If there's mold, you gotta get rid of it. So you either like get rid of the SCOBY or the mushroom, the layer that's moldy. If it hasn't affected all of it. Or you can just like scrub it off. Worst case scenario, you'd have to get rid of it and get another SCOBY from your friend. But hopefully that's not the case. You can use your hands if they're clean, but not with antibacterial soap, because that's bacteria and it reacts to it. So like some sort of natural soap, make sure your hands are real clean. Otherwise, wood works good. These are clean. Just be as delicate as you can with it, but it's okay. Like this is, don't worry baby, this is good. Okay.
Oh, taking the brain out.
Yeah, it looks super gross, hey?
It really
okay.
does.
Yeah. Okay, so you can see like this, look at this thin little guy right here. Like, that right there.
Oh, wow.
Probably, that's a new SCOBY taking form, but it's a little young to like give away, I would think. It'll work. If that's all you got, you can sort of see how it just kind of comes off.
The skin.
But it is hanging on a little bit. So I'm going to wait for that guy, and he'll come off more easily when he's like, or she.
Ready.
Yeah, when it's a little bit older. So that one's good as a SCOBY, and so is that one. This one's a little bit more mature. You can tell by how thick they are.
Yeah.
So of these two, that's going to be the better one because the fermentation process will be quicker. It's healthier, it's more grown up, but that one's still definitely ready to be adopted as well. I just poured over, it's all good. Now that's kombucha in the works, in the process already, as we speak. So just kind of like make sure it's sort of dry-ish, where you're going to put the cloth on top. Anything that can both breathe, like you can breathe through it, it's definitely not airtight, and then also acts as a barrier for like bugs and like fruit flies and stuff. So if it was like a mesh or some sort of thing that you put on there, just make sure it's like really fine, because fruit flies can be really tiny, and if they get in, they'll mess with everything. And then a rubber band or something like that to just keep it on top. So now it's breathing, it'll sit for about 5 days. If it's warmer, it'll be faster. If you've got a bigger, thicker mama mushroom, it'll be faster as well. So just taste it after 3 to 5 days and see how it's tasting. When it tastes like kombucha, you harvest, and the whole process starts again. So this one was 2 days ago. I did this process, like what we're doing today, where we harvested, and we added the kombucha to this jar. Like these ones that are over here, these are just straight kombucha. So that's what this was, and I just put ginger in it. It's been sitting for 2 days, and now it's ginger kombucha. This one, same thing, same batch, but that one's blueberry ginger, and then this one is apple, cloves, and cinnamon. You can kind of get funky with whatever you want. There's no real harm being done because the mushroom isn't in the same jar, so like as far as like what ingredients will react well or not. Doesn't really matter because you're not gonna. There's no mushroom in there to mess with it. But obviously, some flavors will be good and some not so much. But this is the fun part. You just experiment with whatever you think might taste good. Cheers, kombucha.